Hi, gentlemen. As a number of boys got a contact with me with Friday's quiz, I thought it'd be worth just going through one of the answers um, to sort of clarify a few things. Obviously, using Khan Academy isn't perfect. It's not really geared towards the New Zealand curriculum. Um, so you sort of have to make a few allowances for that. In saying that though, the skills you got over the week should have been enough to be able to answer the questions. So let's take a look. So one of the questions, just be aware that everybody's quiz is slightly different. You may ended up with slightly different answers. So it's really so it might be that if you're comparing to someone else in the class, they might have a different answer because they got different values. Um, so we've got here a set of average city temperatures in May are normally distributed with a mean of 20.66 degrees centigrade or Celsius and a standard deviation of 2 degrees Celsius. The average temperature of Singapore is 26 degrees Celsius. What proportion of average city temperatures are lower than Singapore? So the main bit of confusion comes from the fact that Khan Academy and quite a lot of countries around the world use this Z table. In New Zealand, we use this Z table. So the key thing to notice with the differences is the actual diagrams at the top. So with this Khan Academy Z score, is that they're actually measuring the area that is less than whatever the Z value is, which is fine, and you can work out all those different things. But the one we use in New Zealand uses from 0 to Z. Now, the reason why we use that one over the other one, I don't know. It's just the way it is. The reason why I haven't taught you to use the Khan Academy one is that it's not given to you in the exam. The only Z table that you're given is this one where we look at the area from the mean rather than just being less. So when you're looking at the hints and the answers, it's referring to this table, not this table. So that's why there's a difference in the numbers. That being said, using either table should still give you the correct answer. So I think the big thing that you should have taken out from this question was that you've got to rely on the procedure or the four steps that I've mentioned to be able to answer questions like these. So if we do that, let's take a look at it. So our first step, as always, is draw our picture. So what do we know? So the x values, we know that the average or the mean is equal to 20.66. We know that the standard deviation is equal to 2. Okay, and the Z value that we're trying to work out is 26, so that's going to be higher. Now, I realize that sometimes the quiz changes the order, and you may not have ended up with this question first. And you might have actually ended up with one on the left, which is unfortunate because I think a number of those factors confused people. The good news is by next week, you would have done, by the end of this week, you would have done all the different variations, so you should be comfortable in answering them. The other thing to keep in mind is you can always go back and do the quiz at any time. So we are trying to work out everything that are lower than Singapore. So that means we are trying to work out this area here. So we talked about last week that anything below the mean, zero. So really from our table, what we're doing is trying to work out the area of that and add it to 0.5. Now, just a little side, the Khan Academy Z table, you wouldn't have to do that. All you would need to do is just read off the table what the Z value is because it measures everything less than that number. It does mean that the table tends to be a bit larger. It includes negative values and things like that. So always refer to our Z table and follow the procedures we've talked about, and it shouldn't be a problem. So first of all, trying to work out what 26 is as a Z score. So using our calculation, so we've got 26, take away 20.66 divided by 2. We put that into a calculator. It gives us 2.67. Oh, my point's not coming up there. Hang on. 2.67. Times looking up on our table, so 2.6 and 7. So we can measure all the way down to here. Gives us 0.4962. So if we get rid of the table, it means that this area is 0.4962. Now that we've got 0.4962 for that area, what we have to do is work out the probability that x is less than 26 is going to be our 0.5 or half the data plus 0.4962, which equals 9962. 0.9962. And then the last thing is to write our answer in context. The probability of a city having an average less than 26 is 6 degrees is equal to 0.9962. And if we compare that to what the answer was in Card Academy, you can see we end up with 0.9962 as our answer. So, look, I know it wasn't ideal. I know it wasn't ideal having the mixed tables, but if we go back to the steps that we need to use to answer the question, we should have been able to work our way to get the answers. So what we needed is a little bit of resiliency and relying on our procedures. That being said, the fact that you may have not scored as well as you would like in the quiz, it's not the end of the world. I'm more just trying to measure people's engagement, and the fact that there were people asking me problems is really, really useful, and I can try and help you by doing that. That being said, this week's a lot more like last week, so more practice of last week. So hopefully by the end of the week you should be particularly comfortable. The key thing is to always think back to the steps, draw a picture, calculate the z-score, look up the probability, and then write your answer in context. If we're following those steps, we will be successful.